Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Short Film Idea channel. This is Chike Kamara, and I am in the middle of a 10-day short film idea challenge where every day for 10 days I come up with a short film idea and I post it on YouTube. And I'm doing this to give you a bit of a process that you can use to come up with your own short film ideas, especially when you're stuck for ideas and you don't have anything you can't think of anything to do. Okay. So today is day 5, and let's just jump right into it. Each day I give you the source of the idea, then I give you my initial thoughts on the idea, and then I give you the idea and break it down a little bit. Okay. So here's the source. So a friend of mine wrote to me recently because I haven't seen her, and we talk via email like we talk in person, and and so she sort of told me this little anecdote, which was interesting to me, and this is what she told me. So I'm riding back home on the A train last night in New York City, by the way, and these two kids are performing in the aisle. Um, when they finished, the one kid, probably approximately 18 years old, I'm guessing, starts walking through the train for donations. The girl next to me, approximately in her 20s, starts digging in her purse, which I thought she was going to get some money out and hand it to the kid as he was walking back towards us. She tells him to put out his hand, and he does. And then she takes out of her purse a bottle of hand sanitizer and squeezes a big glob of it into his hand. And I think he was surprised more than not more than me. And and so he just rubbed his hands together and went to the next person. Everyone on the train who saw it just burst out laughing. Okay, I thought that was okay. That was what she told me, and I thought it was kind of cute and funny. But it's kind of a sign of the times that we're going through now. Things that were, that were once just regular bits of life. I mean, if you know anything about New York City, you know that one of the interesting things about their trains is people perform. I mean, you have homeless people that frequently walk through the train cars and ask for money, but then you also have people performing. I mean, all kind of. You have people playing the flute, the saxophone. Um, you have people dancing, doing spoken word poetry on the train as it's going, and then they collect money or tips or whatever after they finish. And so that is New York City. That's one of the things I love about New York City is just how interesting it is in that way. So anyway, I thought this was an interesting story. So thinking it's interesting, again, I had a seed of an idea, and I was like, okay, it's interesting. Let me go to the next step and see if I can turn this into a short film idea. Okay, so my initial thoughts. Um, I was thinking, oh man, this would make a pretty good short film. Um, and actually wanted, and then I was like, I can kind of exaggerate a little bit or make it more of a group thing instead of two kids. I mean, it could be two kids just performing, but um, what if they were like very, very skilled break dancers, and it was like a group of like 4 to 6 of them, like I've seen before. I've seen this in New York subway cars where it'd be like a group of 4 or 5 kids dancing, and they're like really, really good. And you know, what if it was at rush hour when a train was, um, well, I guess the train couldn't be too packed now during the pandemic, but as full as it can be anyway. And they're doing all of these flips, spins. They do spins on the bars and all kind of stuff while the train is moving, and they blast music out of a boombox like I've seen before. I mean, they've done all of this, and it's awesome actually. And so I started getting all of these cinematic visions of them dancing like a real elaborate number, and then the passengers on the train applauding because they were so good, and then them like raking in a lot of tips for the performance, and then what if I stay true to the ending, because there is an ending there, an ironic ending, and that's another word we need to talk about when it comes to short films. Maybe I'll do a special episode on just the use of irony and how irony is really effective for short films as well. All right, so those are my thoughts, and I had some cinematic visions of all of that, and it could lend itself a little bit to a little bit of comedy there as well. And so yeah, those were my thoughts. And the next thing I think is what can make it compelling. I have an idea that I like, that I find interesting. Okay, what would make it compelling? Well, I think the compellingness is already there. I mean, the fact that something that was once like a staple in New York City, or once a part of the fabric of New York City, where kids were doing these things in the open with no mask, and it was just a way of life. And now you have this dichotomy with the pandemic, and this lady actually pulling out some hand sanitizer and giving it to them. I think that's an interesting dichotomy, and it's an interesting film, a compelling. It's not really a problem, and I like to say I like to have problems to solve, to help make the story more compelling. But I just think just that dichotomy, in a way, it is a problem where what is old has to change, and that's like a change of something that was a normal, like I said, part of the fabric of New York City. I just think it's an interesting irony and dichotomy there. So, and there I go saying interesting again. I don't want to say interesting too much. I definitely want interesting, but I also want compelling. So we'll see. We'll see. Let me keep going. I'm not saying that these will be perfect, but let's see what I came up with. Those were my thoughts on it. And let's see. Here's the idea. And I sort of embellished a little bit to try to make it a compelling story. And then I also tried to point towards a potential beginning, middle, and end, like I always talk about, so that I can have at least a cohesive idea, so that you can get a sense of what the story is about, and just not not have it be like confusing. Okay, so here's what I came up with for the idea. It's late 2020, and a group of dancers perform an elaborate dance routine on a New York subway car. Several passengers applaud them. And when complete, one of the dancers solicits tips for the performance. They collect a nice sum of money until he reaches one particular woman who gives him something more valuable than loose change. Okay, that is the idea I came up with. It definitely probably needs some more tweaking, because I want to be able to show, and maybe I can only show this through the screenplay or through these unsaid actions of everybody in the film, but it definitely needs to be tweaked a little bit. But I think that's pretty interesting. I mean, I'm coming up with these ideas. Not all of them are great, excellent, whatever. But anyway, that's what I came up with. So I have the interesting idea seed of an idea, and then I have some elements there that can make it compelling. And let's see what ending I chose. I came up with a few endings. What ending did I choose? A woman surprises one of the subway performers when he solicits her for money. Okay, interesting, good. And remember, the idea is born out of these beginning, middle, and ends that I come up with, and then I kind of flesh it out and try to make it a more cohesive um, sort of mini story that you can read when I'm presenting it to somebody. And the beginning I came up with is a group of subway performers, breakdancers, perform on the A train during New York City rush hour. And the middle I came up with is after a great performance, passengers applaud and the performers collect a nice sum of money. Okay. All right. So that's what I came up with. And for the beginning and middle. And so, yeah. So I took that beginning, middle, and end. And then I tried to put together a little mini story so that if I'm approaching somebody and I say, hey, can you give me the funds to produce this film? At least the idea has a coherent kind of story there. So I take my idea and just flesh it out and color it a little bit. And that's all you have to do. All right. So that's what I came up for today. I mean, I'm not particularly strong, but it's doable. I mean, the important thing is the process, and you see how I came up with what I came up with. Okay, so that's it for today, and I will see you guys on Monday. I think I'm going to do episode 6 on Monday. Today is a Friday, so and you might not even notice this because I'm going to post it. I'm going to post the 10-day short film idea challenge, but I don't think they show you. Maybe they do show you specific days it was posted. So if you see some days skipped, that's because today is Friday. And then I'll start back up on Monday. And I won't cheat. And that's it. Love you. Keep making films. And talk to you soon.